Hey guys, I did it. I found the weirdest or most absurd or whatever I'm gonna title this video movie that I've ever seen. And in my opinion, it is Iron Sky, The Coming Race from 2019. So this movie is directed by Timo Vuorensola. I'm very sorry if I butchered that name, but he's Finnish and I have no idea how to pronounce that. And it's the sequel to another movie called Iron Sky from I think 2014, which I also watched, and it's also absurd, but not quite as absurd as this one. So today we're only going to talk about the sequel. And it is about I don't know how much YouTube has leniency with this. There's debate about the usage of the term, so I'm not gonna call them by their real names. Just I think you know what I'm saying when I'm saying German fascists from around the 1930s and 40s. Yeah, you know it. And they live on the moon. And in the first movie they go to war with Earth, and the second movie, which we're gonna get into today, it takes place 29 years after that because the war ended with the total destruction of Earth, and so now the human survivors, as well as the rest of the human German fascist colony, lives in the German fascist colony on the moon, and that's where the plot of this movie starts. So to get trigger warnings for this movie, I guess it definitely is concerning the German fascists from around the 1930s and 40s. So if you don't want to hear about that, then I guess don't watch this video. I also don't know how much I can say the actual name of the guy that led them, so I'm just gonna call him Adolf. I also don't really want to show any images that like use specifically the imagery that they use, like a swastika or something. I don't know how much is in there, but if it's just like on a clothing or something, I think I can show it. But like, for example, the base is a whole like entire swastika, so I don't know how much I can show that. I live in Germany, and it's kind of illegal to do here, so yeah, I don't want to get in trouble. But with that said, why don't we get into the video? So as I said, the movie takes place 29 years after the first movie, and it basically opens with us seeing the like space station that the German fascists usually lived on. It's a little destroyed now, so maybe I can actually show you it because it looks like a swastika, and again, I don't want to show that.
Humanity found a refuge. The bad news is it was in the former Nazi moon base. They were living side by side with former moon.
But yeah, the humans, they basically live there. It's the remnants of the fascists as well as the remnants of humanity that just now live on this space station. And well, the resources are failing. Their life support system are giving up. And we meet this woman. I have no idea of the names because I can't remember that, but she's the daughter of the fascist girl boss woman from the first movie. She's still here, but she's like weirdly elderly. I think it has to do with like an illness or something. And her father is not here. I think the movie's context is that he has passed away, but I think the actor just didn't want to return. So yeah, he's not there. And instead, the daughter takes the main lead role of the movie. And we also see that there has like this weird cult has been formed. They call themselves Jobsists. And I think they're supposed to be like a critique of church, obviously, as well as big tech, but it kind of doesn't really land. They're kind of just annoying, and like they pray to their iPhones and like, oh my god, you get this many apps, and it's a really outdated critique even by 2019, I think. But yeah, they're also there, and it really starts when like this group of I think Russian refugees comes with this like makeshift like really crappy ship from the Earth, and the like main woman from the last movie, she doesn't want to let them in because she's not a leader there. But her daughter, the main leader of this movie, like she sabotages them and like opens the gate, and then like they can fly in there. And I'm already like concerned because like this vessel came from Earth, right? And so we were like allowed to believe that Earth like totally uninhabitable. So like where did these people come from? I'm sorry, like what? I don't really get it. But yeah, so there's also like one really important character that comes from the ship. He's like this lanky Russian guy that definitely is the main the main love interest for our lead woman. And so yeah, he's important, but like he's not really that much of a character except that he's like technically like very proficient and like he can kind of like build stuff. And then after like a really weird confrontation with the Chopsists, we get to the main character exploring the base and finding this old guy.
Who are you?
You know who I am.
that also was in the first movie. He's the Mondführer. I also totally forgot his name, but he died in the first movie. We saw that. And so she's like, oh, why are you alive? And, well, he basically tells her he's like part of a reptilian race. I think they're called the Vril or something. And, well, we get into this entire like weird flashback sequence, like entirely CGI, of how these things like came to Earth in the age of the dinosaurs.
We had found a planet with air and water and life.
And then, like, I don't know, I think when the asteroid came, or like someone, they basically decided to move into the hollow Earth, which is a thing in this movie, with like their ship, and they like took dinosaurs with them. And there's like this weird sun inside the hollow Earth that like powers the entire hollow Earth, and like also like makes it warm and everything, because like it's probably cold in there. Like that's, I think, like oh my god, I just realized that that sun thing may be the Earth core. Wow, I'm really not as smart as I think I am. Okay, but yeah, basically it's held up by this other thing, which is like a resource or something, and he, in the present time, he gives her like a little like sliver of that thing. It's like this weird yellow stuff, and she gives it to her mom, and her mom is like healed by that from whatever illness she actually had. And so she goes like back there, and he's like yeah, you can like go to the hollow Earth, and you have to like get that stuff, and then you can like get the base permanently running again with its life support system and everything. But basically the people that live there, like his race, the other ones that came there, they are really, really hostile. And there's also a bunch of dinosaurs there. So she and like some other dude from the station that I think her mom really wants to ship her with, he's like this buff guy, as well as the Russian guy. And for some reason, some of the Chopsist people, they get onto this like makeshift ship, and they fly into the hollow Earth through like this weird hole in the Earth, and it's like the entrance portal like through there. So the entire hollow Earth, by the way, is like called Agartha, I think. And I think that has like to do with some weird conspiracy theory. If you like counted how many conspiracy theories that this movie touches on, I think you would never even finish. But yeah, they arrive there, and they like don't really know where like they even like need to go.
Which way? Don't say that way.
I just...
But while they're just figuring it out, we get like a shot of like the reptilians and who they are. And we basically find out that every like evil person ever in the world has basically been a reptilian. So there's like Roman people. Margaret Thatcher is there. The president from the last movie was a reptilian. And then obviously we also get the introduction of Adolf, who also was a reptilian. And I don't know, they're talking a whole bunch, mainly the president from the last movie, and like, oh my god, we did so great, we're always like sowing mistrust between humans or anything.
With this whole infiltrate the upper echelon of human society and manipulate them into destroying each other.
But Adolf is really mad at her because her exploits in the last movie basically ended up with the destruction of Earth, so now they also can't live above. They then proceed to kill the president from the last movie. And then we get to our normal group again. They stumble upon the settlement of the reptilians. And, well, they see reptilian Steve Jobs, which I forgot to mention, but that's also one of them because tech overlords. I mean, this movie is, like, right about tech overlords being evil. It's so silly. And I know I'm not really getting it across, but, like, it's so weird. But I try to include clips, okay, because maybe I'm gonna get copyright claim, but I know that, like, I think that the studio dissolved, so... I don't know who even would claim that, so who cares? But yeah, so the Jobsists are obviously like, oh my god, we need to go to him, and then they run up to him, but like they immediately get taken by like his guards because obviously he's evil. Like, why the hell would you think he wouldn't be evil just because you worship him? He's like an evil reptilian monster. And the others like just run away, but there's someone like sent some like raptors after them because they're like the raptors are their attack dogs or something, because all of their livestock and everything is dinosaurs. And the tough dude like just decides to fight the raptors. And that scene is like so weirdly hilarious because you see him brawling with these raptors, but like their raptors are like biting him and kicking him, and he's like not really actually getting hurt by that. Because I don't know if you've ever like known what a raptor can do because like, okay, they're not alive anymore, but I like had a dino obsession when I was little, and I know that Jurassic Park like portrays them inaccurately because they're more like Deinonychuses in that movie, but actual raptors also were so vicious. Okay, they would have torn that guy to shreds. Like if you can't just like bite someone with like a raptor and they're like fine after that. Like you just can't. So that was like really weird. But yeah, so the main chick and the Russian dude, they run away and they find this, I don't know, like this volcano thing. They also disguise themselves as like reptilian guards, which is also really weird. And that volcano thing is basically holding up the Earth core, so the mini sun thing. And the thing that it's held up by has like some weird magical properties. And so that's what they need to power their base. But it also like holds this entire place together. So it will fall apart if they take it. And they do take it. But then we just like cut to what happened to the other people because they're captured and taken to like the room where people just ate the president, but only like Jobs is there as well as Adolf, and they talk to each other. And the Jobs' guy basically is like, "Oh my god, I can give you information and everything." He tells them that this other dude, like the Mondführer, obviously is on the moon, and Adolf hates that guy. And like he, for some reason, he didn't know that he was on the moon, which is so weird because like, didn't the last film establish that there were people on the moon? And also, the Mondführer is a fascist from the 1930s in Germany, and so is Adolf. So I think they would kind of have known of each other. And like, I don't really get it, but like, I don't think this movie is trying to make really any sense. But then like the Jobs guy basically says like, yeah, I'm gonna give you this information in exchange for my life and the life of the other Jobs people that are still on the moon. And he tries to get them to sign a EULA because apparently those are holy in their religion, which is stupid, but all religions are stupid, so whatever.
Take me for a fool. Trying to get him to sign an end-user license agreement. No one reads that shit, man. He's just gonna do whatever he wants. It's a holy binding contract.
And yeah, he's like, oh my god, now you can kill me. And obviously they're eating them. But the buff dude then frees himself from his shackles and like just punches them and runs away. And so then we cut to the others again, which they have I think it's actually like the Holy Grail, but like the material is special. So yeah, just throw the Holy Grail in there. It's also, and yeah, they run away because now the sun just literally starts. Yeah, it's not the sun, it's the Earth core, but like, you know what I mean. It just starts to fall down. And they jump on these carriages that are attached to triceratopses, and they just drive away with that. And Thatcher, as well as I think the guy is supposed to be Osama bin Laden, but I could have been really wrong. They do after them also with like one of these carriages. And that's so weird. So Margaret Thatcher gets run over by the sun. Which was subjectively very funny in my opinion, and I do believe that Margaret Thatcher actually died from that. And then they get to like this chasm that like ends in a pool of water, and they just jump over there with their carriages. Like, I have no idea if you have ever like seen how large a triceratops is. Like, again, how would you? Dinosaurs, I think, but like these things were huge. That would, I don't know if elephants can jump, but it would basically be like an elephant jumping. And especially like maybe they could like jump a little, but not like they're literally leaping over there. Like, it's crazy. Okay. And yeah, the other one, like Margaret Thatcher's already dead, and Osama bin Laden just falls to his death, as well as like the sun also just falls into the pool. And so yeah, that's it for that. And then like the entire Hollow Earth plot is finished. For like being so insane, they don't even spend that much time in the Hollow Earth. They just get back to their ship and fly away. But as soon as we see them leaving the Hollow Earth, like the entire like ground of the Earth cracks up, and like this huge ass alien ship comes out. And who's on board? Adolf, and he's going after them. Okay, so now they're back on the moon base, and like they rejoice and everything, and yeah, it's so cool. And obviously her mom is like completely healed now and everything. But the Mondführer type like tries to convince her to give him the Holy Grail. And like she doesn't want to do that because he's also like not really trustworthy at all. But just as they like want to start to fight, the entire base like literally kind of crumbles to dust because the alien ship just landed on the thing. And then we get to the most hilarious scene in the entire movie when the door cracks up and who else comes in but Adolf, riding a Tyrannosaurus Rex and shouting something so hilarious that I'm just gonna let it see it for yourself.
Sieg Heil, Mutterfickers!
But if you thought that was like all of the insanity, it definitely wasn't, because like he's rampaging through there. The like Tyrannosaurus is eating people left and right, and basically like the main girl knows that the entire base is basically lost now. So she and the Russian dude like decide to direct everybody to just like get to the other ship that they apparently still have. And then her mom like randomly decides that she's now gonna be the hero, and she runs to this dinosaur and power kicks him to the face, literally killing it. That's like one of the most insane visuals I've ever seen in a movie. So the dinosaur obviously falls over and Adolf just gets crushed by falling debris from the space station crumbling around them. But that's not like really a victory at all, because then the woman immediately gets shot by the Mondführer guy. So that's not great. But then the Russian guy, like he hooks up the Holy Grail to the motor of the ship and they run aboard the ship and they escape. But obviously that doesn't really help them at all, because the Mondführer guy is still alive and he pursues them in the alien ship that Adolf came here with, and he just shoots at them and everything. And yeah, it's basically really stupid because he decides to call them up and just monologues a lot about, oh my god, he loved the human race and if they weren't so stupid, they would have been great friends and everything. And then he like pulls out like a phone that like the Jobsists use, and literally this entire thing is so anticlimactic because the way they defeat the main bad guy in the movie is something I totally glossed over, because apparently, which I didn't even notice, the Jobsists have like this ability to just let the phones of the members explode should they like not hold themselves to their rules. And so she just remote hacks his phone and blows it up, which then leads to the destruction of his entire ship. And that's it. We get to see like a little epilogue sequence where they're still on board of their Holy Grail powered ship that hasn't been blown to pieces despite definitely being bombed by the other ship, and they're just like flying along. I don't know actually where they're getting their food from, but we see them having some, and I don't really know if they have any direction, but we do actually really get like a proper conclusion to that, but I'm gonna tell you about that later. But basically we just get to like see the Russian dude and he talks to the buff dude. Like this is probably like the most conversational the movie like really ever gets, and he's like, oh my god, I'm never gonna ever have a chance with our main protagonist woman, and she's so in love with you. And the buff dude is like, I'm gay.
She likes you. Dude, you're a little too scrawny for me. I like a big, strong, and hairy, like an oily baboon.
Which was a little funny, okay, I have to say that. But yeah, and then he just falls over because he's allergic to peas, I think.
Are there peanuts in the sauce? And shellfish? And wheat?
And that was really weird. And then they have like this space funeral, but he actually isn't that, so he rises from the coffin again. Then we get to see the Russian dude and the main character making out, and we pan out to the space shot, and there is the end credits playing with the absolutely weirdest song I have ever like seen. It's so strange. I don't know how much I can play it, but I'm trying, okay? Because it's so weird. It's literally so weird.
My English is no heaven. My German's even worse.
And if you thought that was the end of it, it isn't. Because apparently their destination is Mars. And like the camera pans out and shows us Mars. And what is on Mars but another space station, but in the shape of a hammer and sickle? Another ideology that for some reason has decided to build a space station in the form of the symbols of their ideology. So yeah, expect the next movie to have the Soviets in it as the bad guys or something, which you probably won't ever watch because, like, are you surprised this movie did not make a lot of money? I think the production company actually went bankrupt after it. And there was a planned third movie that actually has like a letterbox page, but it obviously never ended up being made. There was also this other spin-off project that was made with like a Chinese studio, and it was like made to like introduce the Chinese audience to the Iron Sky franchise or something, which is weird because that this thing is even a franchise is something like I don't even get. But apparently it isn't nearly finished filming, but the director says he was just ghosted by the company, and apparently it's dead in the water because he's only in possession of like an unfinished cut, and all the other footage seemingly has vanished along with the other company. So I sadly don't think we'll ever get to see that. I'm saying sadly because if you didn't notice, I did enjoy this movie. It's so weird in a way that literally nothing else like ever managed to be, in my opinion. And the thing is, I have never actually ever seen anyone talk about this. Like this movie, with all its things, seems to be prime material for the like YouTube people that just talk about weird movies and give commentary about them. Like there's just certain things they do that about, but I've never actually seen anybody talk about this. I don't think there's videos on this, which is why I want to bring attention to it, because I think it would be very funny to critique. Like I'm sure I gave this an ironic 5 stars, okay? I think it isn't, but like I thought it was funny, so I just gave it out in the moment. But yeah, I really think that more people should be talking about this. Like this has like 11K letterbox reviews, and it should really have more, because like if you love it or hate it, like have an opinion on it, please, because like I just think it's something like people should know about, because like it's so weird. Okay, and also the movie, like it doesn't have the most expensive CGI, but for like this weird unknown project, it doesn't even look that bad, which just makes it so much more of a curiosity to me. I just think it's very not like interesting in like an actual deep way, but just like in a oh my god, look at this train wreck way. And yeah, I guess let me know if you have seen this thing and if you will watch it after hearing me talk about it in this video. Like I bet that I have forgot like 15 subplots, so don't make my summary of this think of you that you have actually already seen everything about this movie. So yeah, I don't know. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm sweating bullets and I'm already shivering at the thought of editing this, but I still hope you liked it. And I don't know, leave a comment or a like or maybe even subscribe. And I hope to see another one. Bye!